as your CEO, head of the agency, I want to thank you for this effort because I know how long trust me, I've been doing this for 25 years. Now I'm going to transition what my role needs to be, which is client advocate and ultimately the one that they are going to communicate to if this does not work.
Here I am with Anthony Trimino.
Anthony Trimino. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Do you know why they call the one percenters the one percenters? Because they do things that the 99% don't want to do.
No, Brent? No?
If you want Brendan here. Thank you definitely very much for all being here. Anthony D is going to walk through 7 concepts that we have. Our goal is to align on 3 to 4 that we can take forward to our direction and full copywriting over the next couple of days. Could be 3 to 4 of these 7. Could be that these will evolve and modify with your valued input. There's not any product to talk about at this point. There's no specific message they want to come forward with. The brief is really about people are tired of bait and switch. People are tired of false advertising. People are tired of confusion. They want a clear and direct relationship with they can trust.
So was that the ask from the client?
Yes.
This is the client brief in front of me.
Wanted a whole new set of creative
Yes. They asked
from last year?
Yeah, they asked for copies.
The creative prior to us, last year's creative and this year's creative.
Yes.
They've changed their creative every year for 3 years.
And
so that should say something. Not everybody does that.
yes.
So we need to figure out how we're going to get this to stick so that it becomes a creative, ideally for the next 2-3 years. So. So as your CEO, head of the agency, I want to thank you for this effort because I know how long trust me, I've been doing this for 25 years and I've sat behind the computer at times in front of Photoshop and Illustrator and worked on these concepts back in the early days. So I know how much time and effort gets put into it. So I understand the journey probably better than most. Now I'm going to transition what my role needs to be, which is client advocate and ultimately the one that they are going to communicate to if this does not work, right? What is actually going to do the thing they hired us to do, regardless of the time that it took you, regardless of the love, you need to now transition into, no, let's be strategic. This is an operation.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm struggling with all the concepts in this state that they're in is kind of seeing all the way through to the kind of development of the pieces and the call to action that's going to actually drive the results, right? What comments did they provide with regards to the ideas, the copy, the approach? And I asked that because if they were completely satisfied, we would not be in this room. They would have said, more of that, please, repeat. We're in this room because whatever we produced last year either didn't have legs enough to carry into the next year, or it didn't work as well as they wanted it to, which is why they've tasked us with this. What I'm trying to figure out, and the question that we all need to ask ourselves, is what is this solving? What is this fixing? We do have to reflect on what the creative last year may not have solved. When I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, so this one here, it's super dependent on the guide. What do you do what's the second, third, 8th piece look like when we're no longer pitching the guide? The guide's gone. Like we pitched it, they bit, now what? Or we pitched it, they're not interested in the guide. What's the second, third, fourth, 8th mailer that they're gonna get? This one, I feel like it's super dependent on this thing, that once it's gone, what's the next thing? So that's my feedback there.
Okay.
And if you guys have answers, please, like, don't let my question just linger. If you don't have answers, it means that technically we maybe not have thought that far
You,
ahead. Whatever we do has to be able to carry through all the variations of switching from the introduction of the idea to the reinforcement of the idea to the urgency of not acting. The message has to be able to arc like that. That won't arc. Definitely needs to be fleshed out for sure. And it's basically, you'd have to work on creating all these needs that are solved through this one thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's really the contrast of like all these things are all satisfied. I don't know that this one has enough on its own. I always look for the villain and the hero. And I can see a villain and a hero being created over there, but it's a great visual, but I don't know what we would do with it. Plus, I think we have found over the years that we need to be as tight as possible with our messaging so as not to cause the audience to have to fill in so many gaps, right? One thing I will say with all these pieces, going back to the technical, he was all about personalization. It's going to go through him. We need to get highly focused on as much customization as possible. So,
every health plan at its core doesn't want sick members. Every health plan at its core wants healthy members. So when you start talking about your future self will thank you, I think it opens up a marketing angle to suggest healthy things that they can be doing. You know, if I now understand that my future self will thank me, I'm in that mindset every time Blue reaches out to me. That sounds like a very member-focused communication. So I think this hits on a lot of different unique angles that I haven't seen Blue take, and I also do think it hits on the personalization level as well. So I found this one to be pretty interesting.
I think my feedback is the exact opposite. I don't necessarily think they're looking at the future, definitely not their future self, their present self perhaps, a healthier version of themselves perhaps, but not necessarily the future. So it makes sense to you, I think, mostly because of age. Like you still have so much, there is legitimately a future self of yours that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, potentially 70 years into the future. These people don't have that. You keep bringing up personalization, let's be clear. They all need to be personalized.
Yeah.
Every one of these will be the highest level of personalization that we can do in an execution, period, hands down.
A different path then is if a lot of these members, their problem is that they sign up for a plan and then when they need the coverage, they're not getting the coverage that they want. That is both future, but more like closer to their present of like your future self will thank you because when something happens 6 months down the road, you're gonna actually have the coverage that you need. Whereas a problem in the market is that they sign up thinking that they have what they need, a situation arises, and then they end up not having the exact coverage.
As you were explaining this, it felt more like like you were pitching an operational change on their end. Because you were talking about like, give us a call within 5 minutes. You don't know that they can do that.
The reason I like this one was also to what you said about our, one of the ways we're judged on success is how many phone calls we can drive. And I think especially trying to bridge the gap for our client. I would be shocked to talk to a member and ask them if they don't care about their future self. I mean, that seems against
They care about their current
fundamental
self.
human principles. Like, they would be acting different.
But it's building those stories around all these things that you could do to make your life better. And that's future thinking. It's about the future you, but it's making the future you so obtainable because there are these small, little, tiny things that you can do each day.
But it also keeps it in the present, right?
Correct.
Instead of the year round.
That's my feedback.
All right.
Are we late for Kirsten?
I hope not.
Yeah,
Is
we
that
are.
now? Sorry. Looks like AT and I need to.
Yeah.
Anthony, I'll reconnect with you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.